Okay. Good evening. This is the Rutland Town Planning Commission. It's Thursday, January 4th of 2024. Welcome, everyone. Let's start with the pledges of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have in attendance tonight, Dana and Jim, Mary Beth are online, and we've got Jerry and Andy and Howard and Norm and myself here in the town office. So good evening again. Let's start with the approval of the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda. Second it.
Okay.
Or, excuse me, Barb, who are the voting members tonight? Four,
So we got,
six.
Eight.
I guess I am.
yeah, so I guess Jim, you would be the alternate that would not be voting tonight. Okay,
Yep.
thank you for that, Norm.
You're welcome.
Any changes or ready to approve the agenda? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, no public. So we'll move down to new business. And what we do the first meeting of each year is to, according to the rules, our rules of procedure, is to, I'm calling it reorganization, but essentially we will vote in chair and vice chair. So the floor is open for nominations.
Two,
We can,
chair or vice chair.
or we could do it as a team, or,
Okay.
I nominate Barbara Noyes Pulling to be chair and Dana Peterson to be vice chair.
okay.
Second.
Move it be tabled for food.
Dana, you okay with that? Still with us?
Yes.
I am.
Okay,
So yes, I am. I'm okay with that.
okay. I think I'm supposed to ask if there's any other nominations. Okay. So we'll vote on that slate of Pulling and Dana. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, congratulations, Dana.
Congratulations, Barbara.
Thank you.
Okay. I think that's the only thing we have to do each year, right?
Vote on your rules of procedure. Want to do that at this meeting, or do you want to wait?
We're supposed to do that every year. We're supposed to look at them and,
Yeah, so we the last time we've done it was on the anniversary of when we adopted them in 2022, 21. We adopted it. We said, and next time we're gonna wait till the beginning of the year, so we can do it next meeting. It's not a
yeah.
big deal.
Yeah, if anyone wants to take a look at the rules of procedure and see if we need to change anything between now and then, which would be the 25th of the month.
How about the schedule? We
What about it?
just set it. I mean, it's just look through and decide if we're gonna
Yeah.
keep the 3-week schedule and if it works out for us, or if we want to modify it and for the next couple of months, 3 months anyway.
Okay, we, in our early December meeting, we set, tonight, and then I think
Mhm.
the assumption was it would be every 3 weeks
Right.
after that. Does that not work for folks?
No, I haven't really looked at it hard. And just seeing through February works for me, so.
At least it's not on Valentine's Day.
It's not on Valentine's Day. And those
Yeah.
calendars are done through the end of the year, so.
Yeah. Always a quick trip to Staples again.
All right, then we'll just skip it.
Okay. So we've got a couple things to look at, also under new business. At Thistle Hill, there is a boundary line adjustment being applied for. And Robert Stedman is here.
Can you hear
Rep-
me?
Yes,
Okay, good.
you're representing who, Robert?
Yes, please. If you want, I can give you a quick synopsis. Back in '06, we bought Lot 5 and built our residence and have been there ever since. We subsequently purchased Lot 6 of Thistle Hill Development and some common land. And about 12 years ago, I purchased approximately 6 acres from Ruth Conway. Those are the properties that we're talking about. And Jean and I are in retirement now, and we want to get ready to sell our home. Our son, we gave the 6 acres that we purchased from Conway a few years ago, and they built a residence there. And what I'd like to do is have them have approximately, and I'm talking round numbers on the 10 acres, it's a little under 10 acres, but have them have about 7 acres, and a little under 3 acres would go with our residence, especially if we sell it over the next couple of years or whatever. So that, in general, that's what I'm asking approval to do. The properties, there's no more buildings that are going to be on the properties. It's just giving our son the land that we want to give them, where they'll be residing for some time to come now.
Okay. So can you run us through the lots and the numbers and where the boundary lines are changing?
So down on the bottom where it says house number 130, that's 130 Thistle Hill Place. That's our residence. And that's lot 5. And it goes west and then north up to portion of lot 5, where we're cutting off a portion because I built a barn on lot 6, which if you continue up north, and I would like that area plus lot 6 to go to my son and daughter-in-law. And part of what they own now that I mow just north of the house where it says portion of lot D, I'd like to go with our residence. And that's about it. It looks complicated, but I don't think it is. Howard, you've been up there. You knew when we were working with our son to give them the property. It's just an extension now of giving them the rest of what I think should go with their house.
Bob, so what you have labeled as portion of lot D, that chunk there is going to go to Robert?
No, that portion of lot D will go to Robert and Jean, myself, that is currently owned by our son that we deeded to them a few years ago.
Okay, so
Because that's a like a lawn area right now, and the stone wall, we want to extend that out a little bit into the woods, just so that when we sell it, they have protection there. Does that make sense to you?
I'm getting there, I guess, but it's,
I'm having trouble.
Sure.
I think
Hmm?
I get it. So Robert's house is on this lot 5.
yeah, that's
He wants
house
to,
number
he
130.
wants to take a
Right.
portion of lot D from his son and include it with his property to make his lot include some lawn that's right here.
Oh, okay, so this is coming.
So Robbie's gonna give him, or they're gonna get that portion of lot D to go with his house to increase the size of his lot a little bit.
Yep.
And then in turn, Robbie, if I'm not wrong, Robert, this is gonna pick up portion of lots, is gonna pick up that lot 6.
He's gonna pick up all of 6 and a
so
small
that he's-
portion of what used to be lot 5 around where
Right.
I built the barn. At the south end of lot 6.
So that whole property is gonna
So
go
this
to,
line, okay, so now
Robbie.
it makes sense.
right.
I guess it's because there isn't a line out here to look at. That's what's making.
So Robbie's land is out here.
Okay.
Yep, I get it now. Let me get some clarification if I
Mhm.
can.
Yeah,
So-
speak up, Norm. So Rob,
Just get a little clarification. So if I understand it, the parcel labeled portion of lot 5 will merge into lot 6. Is that correct? So that will become one lot.
No, that is correct. That's going with lot 6. I apologize. Yes, that's going with lot 6 to give Robbie, our son, a little area south of the barn to have and to maintain. That really
And
goes
then-
with the barn.
Now, what about where it says portion of lot D? Does that
Portion
stay
of
with
lot
you?
D,
Yes.
Yeah.
It
that
stays with
currently
you?
is owned by Robert B. and Michelle R. Stedman. And they're going to deed that to go with lot 5, our residence, because that's a lawn area that should go with that.
and the portion of lot 5, south of the barn, that will be going to you and your wife?
No, that portion of lot 5 will go to our son with lot 6. It would extend lot 6 south, just a little ways.
Okay.
And
Mm.
see where you
Okay.
can see where the boundaries are
Yeah.
gonna be dissolved to make that happen.
Okay.
Is the son, is the portion of lot 5,
That's currently Norm owned by Robert.
Robert
Correct.
and, but yeah, but they're both Robert, that's
It's gonna
what's,
go to Robbie.
Robert and Jean or Robert and
Yeah,
Michelle?
hard to get the,
Yeah,
Robert and Jean. And they're giving that to Robert and Michelle. Robert and Jean are giving it to Robert and Michelle. Yep. Okay, and then lot 5, Robert and Jean keep that. And they're gonna pick up this lot right here.
That
Pick up
portion of
of
lot D,
Yeah, okay, I got it. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay.
thank you, George.
Yeah. Thank you for walking us through that. So Planning Commission, on this, survey, do we have proposed changes to boundary lines? We do. The name and address of the preparer, Timothy Short. Do we have numerical and graphic scale of plan, date and north arrow?
North arrows.
Mhm.
No,
Scale, got the scale.
Scales at bar,
Yeah,
yeah, bar
dates on the
scale.
bottom.
Okay. And any existing features and facilities, including roads, public utilities and utility easements, wooded areas, structures, water courses, ledge, wet areas, excessively steep slopes in the right of way. We've got the roads, we've got the power line. Any wooded areas here, Robert,
Any wooded area, what?
on these portions of the parcels?
Lot 6 is all wooded.
It's,
think.
the most of lot 6 is, lawn. And about 2 acres of lot D, which is about 6 acres, is lawn. The rest of 6 is wooded. And the area where it says portion of lot D, just northeast of the stone wall, is wooded.
I don't see any power lines. Well, the power line he's talking about is this,
It's on the road.
it's
It's
a
on
roadway,
the-
it's actually a transmission line with Green Mountain Powers.
That's correct.
That's where the road.
It's to the left of where it says Thistle Hill Place going up lot 6. The power line's to the left of that.
Oh, I see it. Thank you.
Okay. So we're probably good with number 4. And we've got a location map there. All the permit fees have been paid. Bill,
So far, yes. Well, yes, everything's current.
what else? What else do we need for boundary line adjustment?
Now, is this
Fine.
going to fit in for a boundary line adjustment due to the size of land we're moving? We're talking 1.3 acres is one piece of it, and are we limited somewhat to a boundary line adjustment as to percentage of- hopefully not. We can just-
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean,
Nothing-
Less than an acre total, I think.
There's nothing that says, we don't have anything that says like percentage triggers anything.
and like, this doesn't change the use of any of these pieces. Okay. Robert, any questions for us?
No, the surveyor, this is kind of new to me also, but the surveyor said once it's approved, he would provide the town the Mylar copy that is needed.
Yes, and I think it's the same 90 days we have with subdivisions. Once we approve it. Most likely.
I have to submit it within 90 days.
Yeah,
Well, we do a hearing though. This is just the preliminary one.
do we need a hearing for a boundary line adjustment? I think this.
Good question.
And on the application, we have the hearing date as tonight.
Just warned.
I thought at a previous point in time, we did not consider boundary line adjustments minor subdivisions. So the answer to that question, I think, would be no, but somebody can correct me if my memory's wrong.
Yeah, I think you're right, Dana.
I do have a technical question, and I maybe should have asked this earlier, but on the back side of the of form, well, it's form 2, which is the backside of form 1 that we got in the packet. There are the acreage changes, and I'm just having a little trouble reading the numbers that are there. Did that get already addressed?
They're off in the boxes, Dana. You see that? They're
I
kinda
see
set away
total
from the-
acreage of lot A prior to change at 354. I see total acreage of lot B prior to change. And then I see that as 5.816. Is that supposed to be a 1.6 or am I reading that wrong? Because then I see total acreage for lot A at 2.6, and I think that's supposed to be a 4. And I'm trying, if that is the case and lot B after change is 6.71, then that's 9.35. But I'm struggling to get 9.35 out of the original acreage or how those numbers are written. It looks like there was a scribble or a change, but on that second line, 5.8 looks like it's 816. That's the only one that has 3 digits after the decimal place, whereas the others all have 2.
Is that a question for me? I don't
Yeah.
have that in front of me. I apologize. So I don't know when you say a lot, I don't know which one is which. The 5.86 is what I purchased from lot D, original lot D that I purchased from Conway. And then
5.886 or 5.1 816.
it's 5.8 something. I don't want to misrepresent. It was just under 6 acres. I recall that.
Yep. Because the one would make sense if the other two are 6.4 and 7.1. But it should be.
It's probably my handwriting. I apologize.
Bill, can you clarify?
It's 100th off. If you total the 2 on the top, it's a 9.4. If you total the 2 on the bottom, it's 9.39. If you carry the 2 digits.
Yeah, no, I get 9.35 on the
Okay,
bottom.
then you're using 4 and I was using 6.
Okay, that would be 3.7. But yeah, I was wondering if that 816, that extra 6 is just a mistake. Because that would set everything right.
Probably. I wish.
What's on the, oh, there is no, is there a, there's no plat, right, for this, or is there?
No, this,
If we accept the second one as being 2.64 and 6.71, and if the top is 3.54 and 5.81,
Yeah,
it comes out correct.
that's what I was saying, right?
Okay.
But I was just struggling with the way the numbers were represented on those lines.
so
And
what are the numbers?
I would have to take
3.54,
error there.
5.81, 2.64, and 6.71.
So we dropped the 6 and the
Yeah.
lot B prior to changes. Okay. I think this is it, right?
Yeah, I mean, as long, so with the boundary line, as long as we're not creating any new building lots, it'll be considered a boundary line adjustment, so.
Yeah. Okay. Think we're ready for a motion. I think.
I'll make a motion to accept the boundary line adjustment as presented with the mathematical corrections proposed by Andy.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion? Mary Beth or Jim? Anything?
Yeah, looks good. Looks good to me.
Okay, so let's go to the vote. All those in favor of the boundary line adjustment for the Stedmans with the corrections to the lot sizes, as we just discussed, please say aye.
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 And opposed? Okay, unanimous. Okay, great.
Well, thank you
So-
very much.
Yeah. Yeah, just don't forget the Mylar.
No,
Right.
I'll get on that tomorrow and it should have it within a week or two or whatever it takes him to do it.
Right.
Barbara, can I make one additional suggestion?
Absolutely.
Just for clarification purposes, that the numbers be looked at with respect to the Mylar, and that they actually are reported as they should be reflected in the filing.
So you have an exact
Like,
total.
so that this planning commission, we've just accepted it as they were corrected. But if those corrections were erroneous, I'd ask Bill to just check that the filing of the application actually reflect what the Mylar shows.
Yeah.
Is that okay, Bill?
Yep, sounds good.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Stedman.
Thank you very much. If you don't mind, I'll exit out.
Don't blame you.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good evening.
Good night.
Okay, just gonna skip down and just mention that we do have the final plat for the Cluxton subdivision. That's off Killington Avenue. We looked at that. It's been stretched out a little bit. But we do have that and it looks, unless anyone wants to take a look at it. Howard, you want to give it a once over? Looks like you do.
This is Killington Avenue right here.
You know, the pins, those are what, there's still a white house over there. I'm thinking this is the land up to.
So overall, you think it's, you can keep looking at it. I think I'll move on to the,
It's got the, appears to have all the pins around it, but the piece that they're picking up here. It looks good to me.
okay. Okay, we'll get it signed and get it filed or whatever it's called. Recorded.
This is the lot.
Okay, next thing, hopefully those of you who are online downloaded the Housing Navigator Program information. We'll talk about that next. Thanks, Howard. So this is, and those of you here have an extra copy. This is something that came out of the last legislative session. It's money to be spent and used this calendar year. And it has several different parts to it. The first one is picking, this would be housing for residential housing, picking sites. And, you know, this is through the Rutland Regional Planning Commission. The planner, Logan Solomon, sent a survey to the Planning Commission and the Select Board. And, you know, just, you know, what kind of, it had some general questions, then it had some very specific questions. The specific ones were like, what sites are you interested in developing? I don't think there's anything that's town-owned that's available. So these would all be private landowners. So the select board, I asked the select board if we would go back to the Regional Planning Commission and say, why don't you send the survey to residents first? And that's what's happening. It's almost done and ready to go out. So hopefully some people will come forth in that survey and say, I've got property, or how about this piece of property? How about, the former mall, Diamond Run Mall, or something like that. And then there are questions about the density of the housing, or what kind of housing it would be, from single family on up to apartment buildings and everything in between. So we'll start with that survey. We'll take a look at it when he gets it out and gets some responses back. And that'll help us with the first part of, mapping some sites. And then it pretty much gets handed over to Logan. He will be responsible then to line up some developers who are interested in doing residential housing, if they're out there. And then he will help them through the regulatory process and the financial process. So what we'll be doing is just that number one. And then we can keep tabs on the other things. But that's where it stands right now. And we don't have a whole lot of time. It's just calendar year 2024. And I'm not sure how much interest is out there.
Much money.
Well, there's no money yet, except for helping developers, matching them to the sites. Just there's no housing money yet. What the legislature passed is this Navigator program. It kind of facilitates getting to that point where they are looking for funding.
What is the 27,000 that was mentioned in the paper today? The 27,500?
Oh, I think that's what each of the regional planning
Planning
commissions
commissions
got
got.
for Logan and his counterparts. And
Okay,
the other
so
10
That's,
RPCs.
that's the money they have to conduct a survey, and then if there are matches, to make those matches.
I don't know what matches you're referring to, but
You said developers and land.
so it's essentially that money is for Logan and his counterpart's salary. Because they will be doing most of the it's the initial work.
And the planning just needs to be done in 2024.
Just these 3 steps, and hopefully the legislature will come forth with like, okay, so here's some construction money.
But it wouldn't have to be built in 2024.
No, just these,
Just get it lined up.
yeah. So yeah, I couldn't think of any town-owned land.
But you also can't ensure that anybody's gonna actually build a house in 2024. That's step 3, ensure the housing is built, but it's only the first 2 steps, basically, that you're gonna be able
That's what
to
I was-
accomplish in 2024.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at too, Dana.
Yep.
It's not
It's not as if it has to be built in 2024. It's to get all of the parts in place to make it possible to come in with the money to do the construction.
So the plan will be set in place with all of the funding identified, is what I'm assuming.
I
Then the work
think,
has to be done.
yeah, I think so.
But I too was thinking along the lines that Jerry was expressing, that in a year, if you could get to step 3 and all those things would be in place, I think you'd be doing pretty well.
Right. And, I think Logan and his counterparts, yes, they may be looking for funding, loans or that sort of thing for the developers, if they can swing it.
Yep.
in addition to hoping that the legislature comes forth with,
That would really be the only incentive. If the
Right.
legislature doesn't come forth with any money, why wouldn't a developer just find his own land and build his stuff and not bother with all this stuff? If the state's not gonna encourage them or with some financial,
Or subsidize the loans
there's
or.
really no reason to even do this. It just sounds like another thing the state passed for a law that doesn't go anywhere.
yeah, I mean,
Well, if this could ease the regulatory process,
Well, what,
it
we
would
don't really,
be about the same as money.
well, there's no regulatory process in Rutland Town. I mean, if somebody's gonna build in Rutland Town, there's no,
Multi-units or something.
Yeah.
More what I was thinking.
Act
of.
250
Not
would come
just-
in, yeah.
if it's more than 9 lots.
But I agree with you, Jerry. I mean, even a couple of points on a loan would make a big difference. So, you know, if they put their money where their mouth is.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
if they-
it would behoove
Find a
them
way to help them financially.
Yep, exactly.
You got some,
Without financing, it doesn't have any legs.
Right.
yeah, I'm just saying if the state puts forth an effort to help developers financially, I think that they could be onto something. If they don't, I don't see a developer really caring if they go through this process, they'll go through their own. Personally, but anyway.
Yeah, I know. It's like, you know, a big chunk of this is identifying the sites and,
Right.
you know, what type of housing the town wants. But we can't tell developers
Right.
where or what to put
I
in, but
suppose
we can lay out our preferences.
Yeah, I suppose Logan could come up with some areas that might be something the developers hadn't thought of. Maybe they'd be willing to jump on because they
Yeah.
see a piece that's viable.
Mhm. Yeah, we'll see if if the residents come up with any of these offhand. You know, we've got that area that was going to be apartments down on the south end of town.
Hmm.
So Barbara, a question.
That's
for
still
you.
for sale. Yeah,
What's the ask of the planning commission membership? Is it just awareness, or is there something you would like us to contribute or otherwise identify in terms of Logan's responsibilities?
yeah, I mean, I guess if we think there are legs to this, we should look at the resident survey when it comes in and maybe take the survey ourselves.
Okay,
If we want to go that route. I mean, I think the resident survey is going to tell us whether there's much interest in town. I'm not sure if there is much interest among developers right now. Does anyone have their finger on that pulse?
Probably not. There's this huge need for housing that the legislature is trying to do something with, but this isn't. I don't think much is gonna happen, like you say, unless they have some incentive to encourage a developer to come in.
the only perspective that I could offer to that question, Barbara, is that I mean, the nationwide data say that the housing market in terms of development is pretty stalled right now because the interest rates are so high. So there's a disincentive by design to put the brakes on that. The only way you could overcome that is if there is some funding to help mitigate that. And as interest rates ease over the course of the next year, which they are reportedly supposed to be doing, then that interest may be renewed. If that can be accelerated by some type of funding, as Jerry and Howard were just suggesting, then it may get legs, and that may be something that generates interest. But short of that, I think we're going to be at status quo, given the
Yeah,
financial.
I mean, I think the legislature was thinking when they created this, that there are sites out there and there are developers out there and they're not being matched up, and towns and town people are not are not thinking about the possible sites for housing. It's just not on their radar. And, you know, there needs to be this matching that if they were asked, they would come up with ideas.
Right.
Does Rutland Town have much available land? It's got some farmland, but
On your desk is the filing for the Post Road Solar Project.
mm,
Bunch. There's not a lot that's out there that's that's available for somebody just to go get, so.
I mean, if the task is to facilitate that process, then we ask if people are interested in developing their land for housing purposes, and we will match them with a developer. And we ask developers if they're interested in doing this and moving the initiative forward and get their names. And then we can have column A, interested property owners, column B, interested developers, and then provide the list to each group. But that may be a subsequent step to the survey that you mentioned, Barbara.
yeah,
Isn't that what Logan's supposed to do? Isn't that what this guy's supposed to do?
yeah, yeah.
So
I think
there you
that's
go.
what he's supposed to do, Dana.
So then there's nothing we have to do except publicize it, maybe.
Right, right. And yes, and maybe we should help them with you know, getting the survey out there. So we can get some input.
Do you
Okay.
have any put to the survey at all?
Yes, yes, he has one that he designed for both select board and the planning commission to
If you
yeah, to fill out.
hope to fill out?
But I thought that was putting the horse before the cart or whatever, that we couldn't get very specific with sites without asking people. So, because there weren't many, there's not much town-owned land or any town-owned land. So we would be asked to pick sites on private property. And so I thought, well, wait a minute, why don't we just turn this around and do that survey first? So we'll have a look at both of those.
Well, I guess as I listen to this, I get more confused or lost. But is the basic purpose of this program was to provide funding for planning commissions to identify town-owned property that might be available for development first,
That's one option.
yeah, and then second privately.
Yeah,
And it's a small step in terms of some of the stuff that you read about now and how much housing we're gonna need and how many people are retiring in the next 10 years and the shrinking workforce, you know, demand. So it seems to me we just go along and see what he does.
yeah.
I just wondered if we would have any specific input to the questions that go out to the town from Logan.
If you would like, yes, he's,
I just wonder whether it's worthwhile for us to spend a half an hour looking at the questions.
okay. Yeah, he's still developing that, so we may not want to wait 3 weeks. He may want to get this out so he can get things rolling. So I could send the survey out to those who are interested in looking at it.
I just thought as a body, we might have some insight that he might not have because we're more familiar.
Right.
So Barbara, when
Right.
you get it, why don't you just send it out to the PC?
Send it out. I'm sorry.
Send it out to the planning commission?
The PC, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it'll depend on where the sites are. I mean, I don't remember much opposition at all to was it 5 stories that were going in?
5 buildings, 3 stories,
That's right.
200 something units. There was the opposite of opposition.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there were some concerns about our fire equipment not being able to reach that high and stuff like that. But it was like a good problem to have.
Till you have to pay for the equipment to reach that high.
So, I mean, I think there are some sites. I mean, I think there is some potential. This is also optional. But there is a need out there, so.
At this point, I don't see any reason not to go along with it and encourage it. It's not costing us anything. If we get the opportunity to have some input into the questions,
Yeah,
there's a lot of open land. Now, whether the developers want to, the owners, whether they want to put it up for development, et cetera, that's going to be answered down the line.
yeah.
Rutland Town, there's very little water and sewer, municipal available.
Right.
That's gonna have an impact on what they try to
That's
do.
very true. That's very true. If it's going to be a multi-unit development.
Nice to see something at the mall.
So, Madam Chair, it sounds like we're speculating at this point, and it would seem like we need to wait until Logan gets you the potential survey. We can provide some feedback that could be sent out, and we can begin to examine the data coming back in at our next meeting. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
I think it does. Bill, with the Diamond Run Mall, what was the latest plan by the owners
they are attending the January 30th meeting to talk to the board.
to provide an answer to that very question?
That is the plan.
It is providing some housing right now, right?
It could be not legally,
Not legally, not formally, not
not safely.
safely. And then, you mentioned some of the Thomas properties. They were hoping on the opposite side of Route 7 to do some subdivisions in there, and that hasn't gone anywhere. I mean, some of these sites, even the Post Road Solar has, there's wetlands that were impacted where the panels were going to go. And I think that's the same case up across from the dairy, the former dairy.
I think that's wet on the other side of the road too. There's a lot of wetlands.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting exercise, I guess, to see what folks come up with and what we come up with. Regarding a Post Road Solar, is that what that is?
Underneath it.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So the full petition has gone into the state. There is the developer, Thomas Hand, is still working with historic preservation people about the archaeologically sensitive area on the southwest corner. They're hoping to do some clearing of trees there. So it'll be interesting to see where that comes out. But I guess they just went ahead and put everything in while they're still working on that. So I don't have a final answer than that. And the town is okay with what they have proposed so far. And the screening and all that kind of stuff. So we'll wait to see what comes up with the historic preservation.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else on those topics? New business?
Did we cover the Cluxton subdivision already?
Yeah, that's the final Mylar. we've got here.
Yep.
That's gonna
Okay,
be
but we
recorded.
already took action on that?
Vote on it, but. if you-
We did not vote, but if you'd like to make a motion, Dana, go ahead.
No, I'm trying to keep track of where I am in the agenda. Sometimes remotely participating is more challenging than being there. So,
Does anyone want to make a motion or?
I don't, it seems like if we make a motion on one, we should make it kind of a it seems cumbersome to me. I don't know. To vote on that Mylar, we wouldn't ordinarily do that, right? To approve it. Why would we do it now? It just seems like in the future that could create a problem if we either do it or we don't, I guess. We do it all the time or we do it never. Right?
Yeah,
But if we do it, it becomes part of the record. That's all.
Right.
It just shows that it was here and.
But what about the next one where it doesn't
Well,
come
maybe we
across the
just do
desk?
it and just say,
I think we'd always, I mean, Bill would always look at it and would like us to just be aware that it has come in, and if anyone wants to take a look at it.
I don't recall voting on Mylars. I just remember Bill said he's
Yeah,
got
I
it.
don't know.
Is that your recollection,
I
Jerry?
think you're
No,
right.
no. Wait, Andy too. We
I don't remember ever voting on them, because it's just part of what they have to do.
I think more than
We
anything
don't
else,
Need to approve it. It's part of the,
It's
Right.
part of
Part of their
like Bill's
obligation.
checkoff list.
right.
I
so that
think
was
all the
leading to part of my confusion. The word said approval as if we were supposed to take action. So
Right.
I'm not being able to see the Mylar or participate as effectively in the discussion sitting here in my library. I was just asking the question about where we were with that item. So if we don't have to take any action, then it's just actually the acceptance of that Mylar.
Not even that. We'll accept it. We don't have any authority over it.
Okay, so we accept it
yes.
as we discussed earlier. Okay. So we'll move down, spend a few minutes on the river corridor this evening. Can everybody see that? There's a list on people's desks and now it's up on the screen.
Yep, I can see it.
Yep, me too.
Okay. So I just pulled out just the commercial and manufacturing properties for this list, and then just kind of grouped them geographically. We had talked earlier about grouping, the commercial manufacturers in one group, and then property owners in another, and probably having different meetings and maybe even different letters to the two of them. So we've got, we've got a group of them on Business Route 4, some more in the Center Rutland area. And then there's a group of them up on Route 7 North, right around McKinley Avenue, and a couple along McKinley Avenue. I wanted to see if anyone knew anything about GMCO properties along Business Route 4. I think one of them, the 991 and 1101 Business Route 4, is CD Chopper. But I wasn't really clear. I don't remember what we said about 751 and 805 Business Route 4.
I had originally marked those on the listing we had as to what the addresses were. I don't have that with me now, but most of those, Garwood owns these properties in that area. And I
Right.
think CD Chopper is middle of it. But I'm assuming that they're all Garwoods.
Okay, that's what it looked like.
I thought it meant Gallup Marble Company, so I thought it meant. I wasn't sure. I mean, that's just what I made an assumption. That's what they were, because they're all along their property. But maybe it's not them.
They're all on their property.
No, well, meaning that GMCO was Gallup Marble Company is what I assumed.
Yep. Yep.
Is that what you're saying, or that we're not sure?
I think we're saying, but there are maybe different businesses, different kinds of businesses.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Different parcels that they.
So,
The
you know,
The GMCO language, where did that come from? The grand list?
Yeah, I think so.
Hmm?
I believe so.
mhm. You got it.
So we ought to be able to somehow determine,
The initial listing we had, Barb, it had all that on it.
Yeah. See,
I
seven
don't have
fifty,
access to it now here, but
751.
when I went through all these and onto the grand list and picked out the address and the name of who was at that address. And I think those are,
Right. The owner name, but the owner name is the GMCO properties.
so if you go to the Secretary of State's website,
Mhm.
I think you put in either under the, you should be able to determine it from there. It's either a trade name registration or it's a corporation or LLC. And it will have contact information, et cetera. And who owns the name?
it's Galway, I'm sure.
Yeah, my instinct is with Jerry said it's Gallad, but they may have several different entities.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But again, way back when we first started this, I know I went through the entire list and again, I don't have access to it
Okay,
right now,
I'll
but-
dig that up.
But it had identified all of it was confusing down here because the way these properties go along by Gowitz, it was confusing. There's no question about it. The lots are intermingled and
Right. So we've got that grouping. We've got the railroad station on Depot Lane that's in the river corridor. And we've got the Earl Auto or whatever that business is on Campbell Road. And then we've got on Route 7, we've got some businesses. They're all businesses, I think.
Mhm.
The
Hey,
the
guys.
Pratico- Yeah,
Oh, sorry to interrupt. But I looked it up where Norman suggested and the principals for Gowit or for GMCO are Albert, Monica, and Philip Gowit at a Center Rutland PO box.
yeah. I'll look into this a little bit more. So for each of these addresses, if there's a distinct business at that address now, or maybe even just take a little road trip. Site survey. So yeah, we've got Praticos, we've got the Gallows. We think that, well, apparently they're still using that structure for commercial purposes.
Gallows is an apartment building.
apartment.
which building is that?
The 379 US Route North. But I think we thought,
Is that the appliance store?
no,
No, it's an apartment building.
but it's near there.
Yeah.
Next to that. For some reason, it's on the list that came from Marcia. It's a commercial entity. So yeah, I guess it could be an apartment building, could be commercial. Okay. Okay, and then the Hones. What's their business?
What is that?
I think that's a house.
Well,
439 US
that's the
Route.
appliance place. The appliance, yeah.
Oh, we were at the corner. Okay.
Isn't there a house down behind there, Bill?
Yeah.
That's probably on the residential list. though.
Yeah, that's residential.
Yeah.
And the Rizzies on McKinley Avenue.
Being sold.
That's gonna be Twitter's.
Twitter's
is
is
Twitter's, but-
expanding to include
Well,
it.
commercial.
They're closing.
Oh, that is Twitter's. Okay.
They're closing.
Are they closing?
They're pretty open about it.
And then the Hendy's, is that a garage?
That's a garage.
Yep. Okay. So getting a handle on these. So trying to down at the bottom, I started coming up with some reasons that we could put in a letter or whatever we send out to these owners. Reasons for supporting river corridors. So if you see anything you want to add to this. It starts with severe weather, especially flooding becoming more frequent. It benefits the town budget and local taxpayers if a disaster, once a disaster is declared. Reduces their own potential property damages. Reduces potential damages downstream and affects new development only. Has nothing to do with existing development.
Suggestion is to put that at the top.
Okay. Oops. Anything else that should go in here? That would speak, that would resonate with business owners. We've got Karis in here too. We've got the Flory Plaza.
Would this have any impact on the insurance of existing property owners and their existing buildings?
Whether we pass a river corridor, it shouldn't. But a lot of these places are also in the flood hazard area. They're also special flood hazard areas, which are affected, which, insurance companies do look at,
I was looking at it from
mortgage companies.
the other direction. Would it provide any, for lack of a better word, protection against insurance increases? If this were river corridor was established, would that be an attribute that we could market? Maybe it's not, maybe it's too early to tell.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard of that. The insurance companies doing that. But things are changing. Anybody online have anything they want to add?
Nothing here, Barbara.
Yeah, that list looks good.
Okay. All right, I'll put something together for the next meeting that we can look at, something to send out to these business owners. And we'll see where we go from there. And I don't think there's much of a rush to get this going. Not like we were, what we thought we were facing with the short-term rentals.
Have we heard from the attorney yet? A long time one?
I think it's between the select board and the attorney.
Waiting to rewrite the purpose.
Waiting for what?
A rewrite of a section.
The purpose, remember? Gonna reword that. Okay. Stop share. Guys are gonna be back on camera. There we go. Down to announcements. The budget is ready for the voters. The planning commission will get a bump for meetings, the pay for meetings. It's a 3.9% raise for all. 3.94,
No, 4%.
okay.
4%.
So that's, and the rest of our budget stayed the same. We kept everything there. There's a draft town plan for West Rutland out there. If anyone's interested in reading that, let me know. And I'll get it to you.
I'm interested. You can
Okay,
send it. Thanks.
any other announcements?
You do a report for the town report, right?
Did I miss a deadline?
Not yet, but the next time we meet, you will have.
Okay,
So by like the end of next week would be great, because tomorrow morning this room becomes the town report room.
okay. And back to the budget, the overall percentage increase was much more than 4%.
The overall budget,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how much was it
uh,
from last year? Was it like 43% or something?
no. The budget is up. So there's two numbers. There's gonna be the reason we did two numbers. So the budget is up 15%. The amount to be raised by taxes is up 5.5%. Because there's additional money coming in that's offsetting expenses. So the amount to be raised by taxes is 5.5% over last year. The draft budgets, so pre-town meeting is January 16th. The budget presentation for the select board is 7 o'clock at the school. The draft budgets, all of them are on the calendar on the website. If you go to the calendar for January 16th, go to the meeting date, you can get all the budget sheets right there.
Okay. Any other announcements? Jim, how are you doing tonight? Okay. All right, down to the minutes. So we've got two sets. I guess there weren't enough people to vote on November 16th ones last time. So we'll start with November 16th.
I'll move to approve the minutes of November 16th.
Thank you, Dana.
Second,
I
Andy.
have one suggestion.
Okay,
In, under new business, paragraph 3, it reads, the array will occupy 12 to 14.6 acres and does not seem to be appropriate for other uses. I think it might be clearer if it said which land does not seem to be appropriate for other.
How about the array will occupy 12 to 14 acres that does not seem appropriate for uses?
That does not, that's okay too. That's better.
Just that one?
I have a
think that's-
comment.
Yeah,
On the first line of those who, commission members present, 8 members are listed. All are indicated as voting members. I think there's an error there.
What you
Mm.
said.
If 8 members were present, only 7 would have been voting members, correct?
correct.
Is somebody listed that was actually not present accidentally, or was the wording, did the wording not reflect the actual voting members? Actually, there's the exact same
I don't-
number as present tonight. The same members are there. The only one missing from that group was Sherman Hunter.
Sherman was at that meeting.
The November
He sat
16th.
right beside me. I think that's why it says all members are voting members. The 2 alternates were the 2 alternates. That's how I remember it, Dana. Sherman sat right beside me at that meeting.
That may be.
That's what it seems
Yeah, I
like.
think
to
so,
me.
yes.
So then his name was omitted from that.
Yeah,
You can remember that far back. The-
yeah, well, that was the last one I was at.
So I'll
I missed
second that,
December.
Jerry, because I remember the 2 of you sitting together.
Yeah,
Okay, so we'll, Dana, you're open to changing that list in your motion?
To add Sherman.
Yeah. Andy, you're okay with that?
Yeah, yeah, and Norm Cohen and Jim Hall become non-voting members.
It's ambiguous when it says all members. and not
Right.
Ambiguous to the,
all regular members. Good put.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. that's a good
All
idea.
regular members, yep. Are voting members.
So we'll add Sherman.
Yep.
We'll say all regular members are voting members.
And you can, I mean, if you want to be specific about it, Norman and Jim are alternates.
There you go. That's even
Yeah.
better.
And if you want to get real specific, they're alternates and non-voting members of this meeting.
Or you could just say they are non-voting.
yeah, we ought to develop a regular format and stick to it. And I think
Yeah.
So all regular members are voting members.
But
Norman and Jim
the
are
next-
non. There you go.
I'd like to.
Yeah,
see
that
these
should-
minutes. Maybe it'll have something we can stick with,
You like to see them what? Sorry?
once they're corrected and signed. Or maybe the language there will be something. we
Sherman
can
was not
perpetuate.
here November 16th.
You're looking on the video.
Jim, Jerry, Andy, Dana, Barbara, Norm.
My apologies. It's the one before. See, Barbara, I really can't remember back that far.
I was impressed, really impressed.
Welcome to the club.
meeting? I don't have the minutes.
I wasn't here.
Okay.
There were only 4 of us here at the last meeting. It was myself.
Right, it's
um,
just for, yes.
Howard, Sherman, and Andy.
And it's
Andy-
because Sherman wasn't at November 16th that he couldn't be part of the approval for those meetings minutes
Gotcha.
from the last meeting.
That makes sense.
I wasn't. wrong.
You
So-
weren't. I hated
Okay,
even
so-
suggesting, Bill.
So much
So
for
then
memory, huh?
you're.
Yeah, so much for memory.
To,
Welcome to the club, young man.
we're back to correcting the original observation. So all members are not voting members. We have 7 voting members, so I believe that would be to state it. And you can't say all regular members because they're alternates, so it might be simplest to just say Jim Hall is a non-voting member for this evening's meeting.
Perfect.
But Norm was.
Well, I think Norm's the first alternate and Jim's the second, if I remember correctly, but
Yeah. Are we giving you enough direction
So
to?
we need to do the parent control things and turn them off. Right. Do Hogwarts Legacy.
Okay, so we'll revise the motion again.
I'd like to
my,
make.
my
one
motion will be to accept the planning commission minutes of November 16th with the following corrections. In the introductory paragraph of commission members present,
The change.
Jim Hall,
Dana.
If you just add except for Jim,
except
all
for,
members, except for Jim, it's all done. It's all fixed.
That's true.
Yeah.
Andy,
Hold on, yeah. First, everybody read the first line on the second page. Select Board is having a site visit on Dyer Road for the purpose of throwing up
Yep.
this a town road. Is that
This as a town road.
throwing up?
That's how you,
Yeah.
that's
That's
what
how
it's
you
called.
say it.
What it's called.
Yeah.
Nobody likes it.
Thank
Everybody
you.
knows what it
in
is.
certain circles, that's what
Okay.
they say.
None of them like it, but that's what it's called.
Very good. All right.
So
so
Dana,
is there
we've
a word
got,
missing?
Dana, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
That's okay. Is there a word missing in that line?
yeah.
Yeah.
Throwing it
Throwing
up,
up,
throwing it up.
throwing, instead of this, as throwing.
It.
Yeah. Throwing it
Up
as,
a town road.
throwing up it as a,
No,
Town
throwing
road.
it up.
Throwing it up.
At the town road. There's also an
Okay.
apostrophe.
obviously
both
saved too much
businesses.
time to do the minutes.
There's an apostrophe that Norman flagged earlier that he sent to me and you, Barbara, on number 1 under old business. Can't with an apostrophe. So with those corrections, I would motion to approve the minutes from November 16th.
A second.
Thanks, Jerry.
We have to, for a
Quickly as
second.
possible.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Nobody voted when they shouldn't have, right?
I did. Should not have, because I wasn't there. I wasn't voting at that meeting, so I probably shouldn't vote on it.
You were
Yeah, you were.
voting. We have,
If Sherman was,
we've
He
come
wasn't
full
there.
circle on this one.
That was a screw up.
Sherman was not at the November meeting.
So you
So
were
we needed
voting.
one alternate.
okay, so I was, okay.
Okay, December
you
7th.
remember?
I started a storm there, didn't I? Jesus.
Let's see if we can do better on this.
I'll vote to approve the, I'll vote to approve the minutes from December 7th.
You have a copy?
Motion to approve.
Any word from the
No, I
Hubbards?
didn't
Just as
download
an
'em
aside,
all.
okay. So do we have did I hear a second?
I just see him for a second. I forgot to download them somehow.
Howard or Andy, you want to second that motion?
Dana, Howard, Sherman.
Yeah, I'll
Manning.
second it.
Okay,
Okay. And now I'll have to say that there's not a quorum present from tonight, from that group to be able to vote on these meetings, so we will have to postpone them until
Okay.
next month because Sherman has to be present because we had a minimum quorum present. So all 4 of us need to be present at the meeting to accept these minutes based on the rules that we've established.
we're never gonna get these approved.
No, probably
I
not.
tried
Not
to
till-
raise this point when we were adopting our rules of procedure last year, but that
Right,
went around and around and around again. So this is where we're at. When you have a minimum number of members to constitute a quorum at a meeting, all of that minimum must be present at a future meeting in order for those minutes to be approved. I think that's laborious, but that's where we're at.
You're right. Okay. We'll keep moving these forward, playing them forward. Thank you, Dana. No, you're not feeling great, but
Okay. Try to do my job.
anything else for tonight? Anyone want to move to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, good night, everyone.